Here we are at the World Champions Museum, and we're going to start with the Formula One World Champions collection. What a collection this is, let me show you around. Of course, in the 1950s is when the World Championship started, and we start with a collection from the early 60s with the first World Champion from the United States, Phil Hill. Phil Hill, believe it or not, actually only won 3 Grand Prix, but he was the 1961 Formula One World Champion for Ferrari. This beautiful two-piece Les Leston Dunlop suit has actually been signed by him up on the right-hand side. Just a real throwback to how amazing these suits were back in the 60s, so light, so thin, and no fireproofs, of course, back then as well. And moving on to Jim Clark, of course, one of the most famous world champions of all time. He was a 2-time Formula One world champion in 1963 and 65. This suit probably dates more around the 63 era, with the Esso and the Dunlop without the British Racing Drivers logo. Again, it's a 2-piece Les Leston Dunlop suit, similar to the Phil Hill suit, and really just an incredible piece of history. His counterpart Graham Hill is up next. Graham with 14 Grand Prix victories in his career, also 2 World Championships, both in the 60s and then 62 and 1968. And Graham Hill was also the only driver in history to win the Indianapolis 500, the Formula One World Championship, and the Le Mans 24-hour race, which is known today as the Triple Crown. This suit has actually just suffered some damage perhaps over time, but again, it's still amazing that it's still in existence, probably from around 1974. That's right towards the end of Graham Hill's career. This suit here, actually, from Emerson Fittipaldi, a 2-time Formula One world champion, won with Lotus in 1972. He was the youngest Formula One world champion at the time. And again with McLaren in 74. This suit, I believe, to be around 1974, 75. It's a Grand Prix winning suit. You can see it's actually a picture of him on the podium right next to it. Then we have James Hunt, 1976 world champion. This suit has actually been signed by James on the upper chest area. You go from a real thin suit in the 1974-75 to a thicker 3-layer Nomax, more fireproof suit. A lot harder for the drivers to handle that pressure and the heat in those particular suits.